Oh, I got the YouTube notification because I follow you on there.
We're on. Hi, everyone. We
I got the YouTube notification.
Wednesdays.
Because I follow you on there.
We're on. We are on Wise Words Wednesdays, and I'm going to go ahead and put the flyer for today as we are sharing and connecting and listening to soon the song and connections and the palabras of Iris de Anda. So we had some technical difficulties. I want to make sure that you all know that we are on YouTube now, and so let people know, any of your friends or connections, that we're trying to see us on Facebook, that we are on YouTube. So we're gonna give it a minute or two for people to log on and connect. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. We are back and connecting with Wise Words Wednesdays. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a special guest today for our Wise Words Wednesdays. You were able to see some of her poetry as part of the first Wise Words Wednesday with all the different poets sharing. Iris de Anda is a good friend of Mujeres De Maiz. She's an amazing writer and poet, a curator, and also has her own group or music group, but does a lot of different things, which she'll talk about in just a bit. But we just wanted to go ahead and say hello and welcome to Iris. Hello, how are you?
Hola.
Let's see.
Hola, ¿cómo están?
Good, good.
¿Me oye? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, and I believe everybody.
All right, I'm doing great. I'm excited. Excited to be here and share this full moon, right? We're gonna have a full moon tonight, and so just feeling that energy and that vibration, and hoping that you all out there in your casas are having a good day today. And we're connecting in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know, it might have been that I had people say it was Mercury retrograde, and I was like, I don't think it is. There's full moon. So, you know, we were trying to do our Facebook possibilities and interact through Facebook in that way, but the Zoom connection to Facebook just didn't want to happen today. So we're back to YouTube, our trusty YouTube. It's actually cool that it can be there from now on. It will be here forever versus just on Facebook, which of course, Facebook is great to have too, but we're glad to have you here. So without further ado, I wanted to just introduce and let's get to some poetry. I know we started a little bit late, and so people who might be tuning in want to connect with some of the poesía, right? People want to hear that poetry, hear the palabra. So Iris de Anda is a Guanaca Tapatia poet and musician. A native of Los Angeles, she uses her art to connect to issues of social justice. She is the author of Codeswith, Fires from Mi Corazon, and the host of the Writers Underground open mic. She is currently working on her first EP. Now let's please welcome Iris de Anda. Por favor, share some of your amazing work.
Yeah.
Hello?
The energía of today. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was freezing a little bit. So if you can maybe start again.
Okay, aquí les va para todas mis brujas out there that are listening today. This one was written recently during quarantine. Glow up. Our skin sun-kissed at birth. Some keep reaching for el sol. Look under rocks and white hoods for ancestors their ancestors forgot to keep. Our abuelas tucked amulets into our braids, formed alliances with the trees to carry messages through their roots to find us. Whispered Pachamama lullabies into our veins, made our mamas strong with traditions and cuentos. Our gente is pure gold, reflecting el sol, places anywhere in the world, and we shine sunrise. Working where no one else wants to, stretching fingertips into fields and factories of capitalism, placing one foot in front of the other, feeling blessed in this bruised world. Some of them mistake our brilliance for brutality, take our lives under the veil of democracy while spitting racist fumes of self-hate. Our abuelos raised us with a steady hand, placed dirt under our fingernails so we would always have a soil to plant gardens. Strummed guitar strings into our hair to dance with the people around us, made our fathers soft with dreams and drive. Our gente is the minerals that reflect life, place us in cages and we become songbirds of resilience, bringing light to dark places, awakening the masses to the massacre of freedom, screaming soft cries in the front of a wailing wall, feeling betrayed by El Norte. The North Star blinded the people, numbed the people, hurted the people. The sun woke up the people, healed the people, freed the people. Our nanas and tatas encoded stars and maps into our eyes to guide us through this dark age in the United States of America. You can glow up whenever you want to. This next one is in that vein, and it's called Bruja y Mujer. I dedicate this to Tara Trudell. La primera vez que me dijeron bruja, yo sonreí muy adentro de mi ser. Reconocí esta palabra como un omen. Nací para bailar sobre el fuego, atravieso el tiempo con mis carcajadas. En ellas transmito energía de mis abuelas, mis señoras de dones tan antiguos como el mar. Toda mi vida un altar, por esto declaro. The time before this, when they accused me of witchery, I died under flames in a full moon. This time I come alive under new moon and water, channeling the power of my ancestors, wicked girl full of energy and magic, old school bruja vibes transcended into every breath. Every moment a blessing, every sunrise an altar, every sunset my funeral. I am reborn every night under La Luna, grandmother moon that tells me tales of wonder and rebirth, each step a sacrifice as I gather the ashes of my journey. Inside my bones, believe me, becoming isn't easy. Transforming is part of the healing, the breathing. This is us manifesting, taking scars from the past and reclaiming them. Under new moon, renaming them. These curses that were thrown at me by those who know not even the sound of their own breath roll off my skin. The words fall to earth, weightless feathers. I dance barefoot in the mud of memory, ready to release the pain of my abuelas, but most of all, el dolor de mi mamá, ready to remove the shame and guilt in my walk for all of life to flow again in my bruja fire. Gracias. And I'll do one more in this
Sí, por favor.
section. Okay. This is Kintsukuroi. Trauma. Om. Mantra. Give us these days free of struggle. I said free of pain. Freedom flowers becoming our very breath. Just because you have battle scars stitched across your chest doesn't mean you are broken. Each wound strung together in a necklace of memory. Each wound strung together in a necklace of memory defines the magnetic presence you see. I can see through the crevices of your smile. As mermaids dance through waters, the rough edges of your worst have become the pearls of your present. We are daughters of ache, transcending ages and bloodlines of silence. Let your cracks open wide as your mama's hips when you came into this world. Ready with wonder, inside the empty resides the infinite you. Trauma does not define you. True warrior, I said true. Triumphant topaz becoming our very steps.
Thank you so much, Iris. That was beautiful. So I'm
Thank you.
Just connecting and sharing a little bit. Thank you for what you're sharing, your palabra. You know, Iris and I met through Mujeres De Maiz, and we're on the Mujeres De Maiz YouTube page, obviously. And we're connecting in this way through palabra, through poesía. Iris was also a coordinator for a good amount of time with Mujeres De Maiz, sharing not only her palabra, but giving spaces to others to share poetry and to share a space. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of your spirit work? Because these two pieces were about bruja y mujer, or like connecting with more of that energy, and that, you know, you were like shouting out to Tarot Chadell and things like that. So can you share a little bit about your other work? Because you're a poet, of course, but you also do work in kind of the holistic or wellness realm.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like these poems are very connected to that energetic world that comes through. I do Reiki work. I've been doing Reiki for the last 20 years. And definitely connecting, you know, our chakras, the colors in our bodies, the stories that we carry. You know, we talk about transgenerational healing and wounds and traumas that are carried in our body because, you know, of our ancestors. And so through the Reiki work, through the palabra, I feel like at one point they started to merge. It was that connection of using my hands to do healing work, to do Reiki, and then using my hands also to write and to connect to the pen. And so a lot of these pieces sometimes feel like I'm kind of going into the meditative state, going into that just place where you open yourself up to the universe and seeing what comes through. And the Bruja y Mujer piece was written for a performance that we did out in Mexico with Tara and Rebecca Gonzalez and Citlali Guijosa Osuna. And so I always dedicated to our sister Tara, who's out there holding that energia of transcending the word, or maybe giving it a different context, right? Because sometimes we've been called words, whether it's bruja or like or malas palabras, as mujeres. And so how do we reclaim those words? How do we shift the energy in the words, so that we're carrying them differently in our bodies, so that we're carrying them differently when we're walking into a room, like chingona, right? We're all using chingona. Maybe before it might have been as an insult. And so we start to shift that energetic feeling, that energetic mood of a word, maybe of even the way we carry our own bodies. And so that's the connection for me between that energy work and the palabra work, and then the way that they fuse and come together on the page.
Awesome.
Sí.
So you're reading from a specific book, correct? Can you tell us the name of the book? I shared it when I shared your bio, but can you tell us about your book or even if these pieces are not from that, can you tell us a little bit about just where if people are listening and we're like, I want to get more, where do I find more?
Yes, definitely. So these that I just shared are newer poems that they're going to go into a new manuscript called The Dreamer is Awake. Mm-hmm. And then the book that you're speaking of is Codeswith, Fires from Mi Corazon. I have a copy here so you guys can see the cover. This one's been out for 6 years. This is a little more of my pocha identity and like just Spanglish and me writing in that way. But definitely looking forward to the new books coming through. It takes a little time, pero we're excited to make those new books happen. There's 2 in the works. The other one's called Roots of Redemption. That one's more about police brutality and some personal stories. I had some encounters myself. And so those are going to be told for the first time in this upcoming book, which should be released in 2020. Pero for now, this book is used at Intro to Ethnic Studies in a couple of colleges. And so I feel blessed for that. Again, it's just my story, my connection to being first generation. My mom's from El Salvador, my dad's from Mexico. So it's like their immigration story. There's some poems in there about inmigración, which is such a present topic that we're living daily, even to this time. So you guys can definitely find that. You can connect to me and I'll send you a copy.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So we'd love to hear some more poetry. It's Word Wise Wednesdays, as well as Warrior Women Wednesday. And so we love to have poesía shared, poetry shared, palabra shared by these amazing women. We'll have every Wednesday at 6. We're doing our best to put it through Facebook or YouTube, and we'll let you know which ones. So it looks like we're sticking with YouTube perhaps, but let's go ahead and hear some more palabra from Iris de Anda.
Okay, so these poems are dedicated to the immigration experience. These have been published in different journals. One of them is the Fifth Wednesday Journal. Another one is making its way to another publication right now. And then I do want to plug the Wandering Song, but we'll talk about it after the poems. So this is for all our babies, nuestros niños, nuestros bebés que están in cages. A little lullaby for you. Duerme tranquilo, mi niño. Yo mañana te espero. Y nunca te olvido. Y nunca te olvido. Free our kunet from the kuat. Free our children from the snake. Dressed in weeping cages, Lady Liberty isn't free. As the echoes of children tell us the tale of this Samaric KKK. Once the land of the promise, we digress to the truth of this eve. Flags of red, white, and stolen land make us blue. Make us accomplices or traitors. Make us the home of ancestors' blood. They have denied our humanity in stages. in the ways that Uncle Sam betrayed himself under a constitution that is being stripped before our eyes and ears, our hands and mouths. Wake up as hawk feathers pierce our dreams, foretelling the prophecies of old. As you see fireworks in the night sky, understand that bombs are not bridges and people are not property. Our hearts are not cages and our children are not collateral. And all that you sow, you will reap on this soil of sorrow and sweat for the next 7 generations. We say enough is enough. We are blooming in the desert of this dying democracy. We are the rage and the rose. We are the flame and the footsteps. We are the witness and the water flowing forward with fists full of love. La Bestia. Metallic snake of rust and tears, weaving your way through the Sierra Madre, carrying those who carry hope, leaving candles lit in their passing, asking for safe passage to El Norte, the land of green dollar dreams. El tren de la muerte, the train of death. Hundreds of thousands of hands reach towards your hot sun, sun of the road so travel. There are stories about your story, slivering steel tracks of midnight stations, the migrant's life to reach their haven. Another day, another dream. El tren de los desconocidos, the train of the unknown, perilous journey to the other side of the wall across barbed wires of illusion, delusion of constructed reality. All are born free. Earth is boundless territory. So our hermanos run onto railroads. Our hermanas drift to new destinos. Quetzalcoatl underground, winding your wheels through Pachamama, unraveling esperanza in empty fields, lucid movement of unspoken song, traveling upward toward light, maravilla echoes in gringo, el tren del 1450 millas, the train of 1,450 miles, opening its mouth daily, devouring the youth of the third world, never enough blood spilled on this holy migrant trail. The rivers are turning to wine, sacrifice of mother's offspring, all hungry, all thirsty. El tren del mañana, the train of tomorrow, escaping small town poverty, send the familia money, rewrite the story, step into the glory of miracles when one of those travelers arrives en el otro lado, arrives naked but alive.
Thank you. I know it's hard
Woo!
I know. Be able to take a breather, some agua. Those who are listening in, we can all take a deep breath.
Salud.
Salud.
Some agüita.
Agua de la vida, agua sagrada.
Sí.
Yeah, I mean, especially all of the poets, I think, with Mujeres De Maiz, at least the ones that I know that are connected in some way, shape, or form, you're always bringing your corazon. And I mentioned this last time too with Chris, and I think even in our poetry session together of the first Wise Words Wednesday, it was like we're really like offering that corazon literally in our hands and on our hearts, or our hearts on our sleeves, our hearts in our hands, and offering that in an ofrenda. And that's why we've been calling these nights online ofrendas or online offerings, to really recognize that art is not only a tool for education, empowerment, and transformation, but healing through that transformation. And so many of the mujeres specifically bring an energy, like you said, that of magia, magic, you know, that brujik, so the bruja magic, and the energy, like your Reiki, your poem is healing, and it's really beautiful. So thank you for sharing.
Gracias.
I wanted to see, check in on our chat to see if people have questions. I think so far we just hear so good. Some shout outs to other poets and writers that are in the chat room. Elvia Rubacalva, Luivet Resto, and muchas otras. So
Hola.
Part of it, and for sharing. Would you like to share another one?
Sure. let's switch it up a little bit. I feel like sometimes the palabra gets a little heavy, or like it's carrying again so much of that ancestral memory, but every now and then it's good to like shake it out and just connect to something that makes us feel good and simple. This is from a Mujeres De Maiz zine from way back. I don't remember what year. And so it's Makeover Manifesto. You and I are boldly beautiful, like turquoise beads and feathers that fall, seeking ways of self-expression, like braiding our hair in punk mexica fashion. You and I are shining stars like sterling earrings and beauty scars, adorning the spirit with light like silver threads and interior sight. You and I are ultra unique, like the lines on our palms and smoky eyes mystique, connecting ourselves together like stitched rebosos and rustic leather. You and I are women warriors like Ispapalo, obsidian butterfly, and all the forebearers, burning sage for clearing and rearranging ideas like soul dreaming. You and I are Mujeres de Maiz, like reflections of the goddess and rebellion reborn, blessing curves with embroidery, like flowers on our sweaters and reclaiming our history. You and I are lucid lovers, like wearing our hearts on our sleeves and forgiving others, wearing rings of power like rainbow moonstone and being blessed in power.
Woo woo, sending all love to all the Mujeres De Maiz, you and all Mujeres De Maiz. I know one of the first connections, and I love to ask this question because I've heard it and I don't get tired of hearing this story about like how you connected with Mujeres De Maiz. Can you share a little bit for people who don't know the story?
Definitely. I think like Gris mentioned last week on her amazing release, Everybody Get Like Girl. She mentioned being published with Mujeres de Maiz. And so again, I can't remember the year. It's been like over a decade now that one of my poems was published with all of you in one of the zines. But even before that, again, going back to that spiritual connection, you know, I have a lot of connection to dream time and like journaling my dreams. And so I shared with you in the circle that back in the 90s, like late 90s, I was in Santa Cruz and I have a dream where there's mujeres like in a field and we're all with rebosos. And back then, like that wasn't part of my connection at the time. It was like more punk rock, you know, trying to find that 19-year-old Edie's. But in the dream, it felt so powerful. And we were under a moon. We were in a field and we were like tied together with rebosos. And it was just like the beautiful imagery of that. And they said, these are the women of the corn. But and I wrote it, I have it in a journal somewhere. And so years later, I come across this call out for the zine, which you still do, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So like this is one of the ones I shared from, but I see the call out and then I see the name and then there's that connection for me of here are my sisters. Yeah. And I didn't know you guys yet.
Definitely. And we even have like the medicine wheel right behind me, and we have a piece by Margaret Alarcon called Mujer de Maiz, you know. So, and we've manifested or femifested that together. Like we've had our full moon circles out in the cornfields, or not a cornfield of what's called not a cornfield of LA Historic State Park before a lot of the shows. We're having one tomorrow online, right? Because of the different circumstances. It's been 10 years, our Coyolxauhqui circle, and you've been a part of that. You know, your daughter has come, and we're just honored to not only share palabra and poetry through the Flor y Canto and spoken word style and the written word of your books, but also the energetic connections and otherworldly connections. So, on that note, salud.
It's hot in my room today.
Oh yeah, it is in general.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And I know it gets hot as you perform or you connect in a little bit more in that way. So thank you for having the courage to share your palabra and to continue to do that. Are now looking to not only publish one book, but now having 2 others on the way for 2020 or beyond. So on that note, if you're ready, we'd love to hear another poem or two, and then we'll go to if you want, or we can do some questions or check in. How do you feel?
I think let's do two more, and we'll end on a positive note, and then do Q&A for sure. Okay.
Por favor.
Gracias. This one's called Los Super Pochos. El corazón de East LA hides behind city streets, palm trees, and murals. Intergalactic barrio travel, down alleyways and drive-bys. The dollar stores dry my eyes. Aztecas plásticos, super pochos, atomic age babies. Plastic spoon society, el mundo fantástico, imagination cruising down. Dream worlds collide. Frecuencia de realidad. Ride the wave, low rider. Change the tide. Travel in to go far. Stars on the boulevard, tattooed eyeliner. Las poetas de la vanidad. A superfluous bunch. And this one, we'll end with this one tonight. It's called Niña de Barro. Niña de barrio, niña dormida, cuéntame la vida, niña soñando, niña despierta, espera. 2 y 2 son 4, 4 y 2 son 6. 2 pies, 2 manos, 2 ojos, unos labios. Háblame tu voz, una luz en la noche. Niña mujer, niña herida, muéstrame espirales. Tus ojos, un mar adentro, aliento de todo. Niña de la tierra, niña del sol, infinita. Dame una razón porque la necesito, niña mestiza. Una mezcla de energías, no sumisa, pero autónoma. Maestra de tu propia vida, niña cósmica, danzante de las estrellas, navegante de lenguas, niña de barrio. Mezcla de lágrimas y mezcal atraviesa mi alma para no pedir más, porque no me encuentro en tu huella, niña astral, niña infinita.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Gracias. Gracias. Thank you all for tuning in. I don't know if you can tell or like where people are tuning in from, but I've appreciated all of your work that you guys have been doing these last couple of weeks, and to see that energy. I'm on my phone, so I can't see comments, but I can feel some of that love.
Andale, well, I do have the chat open. Sometimes I forget to mute myself and you hear the I'm doing my best to the phone, the laptop, all the different versions, the mental telepathy that we're trying to maneuver through our friends too. I just want to thank you, Iris. You know, no matter if we see each other, I feel like everybody has been transitioning a lot of things through our families, home, work, especially now with the different stay-at-home time. A lot of us are going through transition, but the palabra, the connection that people are able to feel, I'm sure even through YouTube, is really felt and really connected. And I thank you for that. I thank you for your work with the Writers Underground and just sharing a little bit about that. So there's a couple of questions, but can you tell us how to get in contact with you and what is the Writer Underground? Because if they want to find you on Facebook, there's like your personal page, and then there's like Idea, the Writer Underground. Can you tell us about that? And then I'll go to the questions.
Definitely. So the Writers Underground is the open mic series that I started hosting back at Eastside Cafe in 2014. We ran there for like 3.5 years. We were there every month, every third Thursday. And the thing about the Writers Underground is we don't do features. It's just an open mic. You know, we have a lot of first timers come through. That was the intention of getting people that maybe have never been on the mic. Maybe they've been journaling in their room, or they don't know like how to go out there and connect, or where to put the poetry. It's like, this is your stage. You are the feature. And then we took a little break, again, like you said, life circumstances and things. And we came back, and now we're at Other Books in Boyle Heights. So we've been there as of last January. This year we started doing virtual as of March. And so we still have that connection with Other Books. So if you guys need books, they do pickup or curbside pickup for books. So you can support that bookstore. And we're doing the Writers Underground coming up the third Thursday. I should have the date, May 21st. And it will be on IG Live. So you can go to LA Writer Underground. That's my IG. And we just go live, and all of you are welcome to come and share, especially if you've never shared before. So yeah, that's the best way to reach out, at LA Writer Underground.
Awesome. So we have some questions out there. Are you ready for open to some questions?
See.
Okay, cool. So we have first just comments. I'm just excited to be here. This is amazing. I'm tuning in from Chicago. So Liz, Jeanette, hola, saludos. Robert Wilson coming from Orange County, because I also, when you asked where people are coming from, so I asked them to put it in the, they did it, and we also placed it into the chat. And one of the questions, another comment, qué lindo hablar con esa niña adentro y honrarla. And then that's from Elia Lara. A lot of hearts. Elvia from Fullerton, OC. And Elvia asked, do you feel cabrona is also turning into a positive term, empowerment, like chingona?
That's a good question. I had this talk with one of my good friends. And I feel like if we're using it ourselves, most definitely. Again, it's that context. Who's saying it to you, and how did they say it to you? Because I'll come and back you up. So it's definitely, if we're reclaiming it ourselves, if we're using it ourselves, and maybe to describe something chingon, something that we went through that is like, eres cabrona in a good way, for sure. It depends who it's coming from. It carries a lot of energy, for sure. But I think over time, different words, even like chicana, right? Different words have had that negative connotation in the beginning. And then we start again with that energy and the reclaiming of it, or having ownership of it. And then you start to shift the way that it comes across, right? The way that we bring it into the room, even the tone that we say it in. So it most definitely can be a positive thing to be cabrona.
Yeah, I mean, I agree in terms of that, the reclamation of it, right? People use the B word, kind of, that's kind of a connection to the C word, I guess, would be in Spanish, right? And a lot of people use that as a reconnection and reconnection. So we are wordsmiths, right? Palabra, these poets, are how we use words, how we reclaim them, how we connect to them. So thank you for sharing that. One of the key things, I think, so you're the intersection, which a lot of the Mujeres De Maiz and other connected poets and sister poets out there in the world, even if they have no connection to Mujeres De Maiz, are the interconnection between spirit and the arts, or holistic wellness and the arts, or and that interconnection. And so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit. This May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm wearing this shirt from We Rise, which was an art exhibit and a full experience last year, and they're doing some online things this weekend. They just did all around mental health awareness, and a lot of your work shares about that, or talks about moving through feelings, especially the code switch and the 4 different sections. Can you share a little bit about that, or any thoughts around that?
Definitely. I do want to say I was at the We Rise last year, and it was very moving to even just see the posters around town with the positive messages, and putting that information out there. I think more and more it's becoming like a good thing to talk about this. It's not that you're crazy. We all have mood shifts and changes, and so to have the mental health field at the forefront, and all of us being able to talk about it, and people talking about going to therapy, and doing the self-care and the different things, whatever's working for you at the time is important. In Code Switch, the 4 chapters that you mentioned, when I described the book, it did come to me. Well, first of all, the name came to me in Dreamtime too. Code Switch, Fires from Mi Corazon. And then it's like my personal medicine wheel. So it's those 4 feelings that I seem to spiral through. There's a lot of coraje, there's rage. And so that starts the book off, whether it's personal or what I see happening in the planet. And then you move into love, because you can't always be angry. It's too much to carry that energy all the time. And so like finding that balance and love. And when I had my babies, I'm a mama of 3. And so finding that beautiful unconditional love and that love with spirit world. And then it moves into revolution. So how do we merge the rage and the love to take action? Revolution is a turn for change. So how do you bridge those two emotions to bring it into action and create the change that we want to see with the things, the injustices or whatever that's happening, again, whether personally or globally. And then the last part is evolution. And so again, taking it that one step further, where it's not so much about being out in the protest on the street, because you're still having that fire and anger feel in you. In evolution, you kind of take it into that meditation or that prayer mode and soften it a little bit, and yet still doing the work, and you're still doing movimiento and having flow for that energy to move through. And so, yeah, I say it's a personal medicine wheel. I think we all have them. Maybe people have their own 4 words, and it's those spirals, those things in life that we keep coming back to, but maybe each time the viewpoint is different, ¿verdad? And so we get to learn the lessons in different ways or with different tools.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. I think I really appreciated that. The 4 as a movement child, right? I was born into the Chicana movement. And I think as a teacher of Chicana Latinx studies, like people first, we always realize the first part is like the anger. I'm mad. Why is this happening? Aside just from the consciousness and the wokeness, right? Of learning about history, her story, our cultures, much less any of the stuff that we go through because of just angst, teenage years, parents, family, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So that process or your own personal medicine wheel was really beautiful to hear about and share and see within a poem or poetry and a whole book, right? And so I think that's why it's so connected, or people like teachers, educators, high school and college students, or professors and teachers really felt called to use it within curriculum and classrooms, and why students are connecting with it. So thank you so much for that. I did just one other question. It's been so important. So Elia mentioned it's been so important to unstigmatize mental health and find a connection to our bodies, ourselves, and the earth. And I think, yes, definitely that's what Edith is sharing. And she was wondering, and I think a question would just be, again, how to connect with you. If we know of any ongoing writing groups, the Mujeres in LA, that she's been a part of a few, but only had a couple of sessions. So maybe letting people know, not so much a session, but if it's the Writers Underground's here, open mic, that's going to be virtual on May 21st. Can you share more about how to connect?
Definitely. There is a group that I want to give a shout out to, and that people can connect to online now, especially, and they're called Women Who Submit. And so they used to gather to encourage each other to submit and get more women voices published. But I know that they also do workshops, and they do writing workshops, and they do different types of workshops. So there's somebody to plug into. Besides them, for the youngsters, I've had people reach out and ask, like, for my teenage daughter, we've all worked with Right Girl. I think they're still doing stuff online. So those are just 2, one for the younger generation, and the other one for those of you that are wanting to work more on your craft or looking to get published. Check out Women Who Submit. And then the Writers Underground is going to be May 21st. So you could, again, just go to the IG at LA Writer Underground. And we're going to go on from 7 to however many poets come through. Our events in person usually last about 2 hours. Online, they've been about an hour long, because then IG kicks you off. But if we have people wanting to get on, we come back and do a second round. So I invite you to that for sure. We'd love to have you and hear you there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Iris. I think people are really appreciating the palabra that you're sharing, but not also the palabra de energía. que transmites, you know, that the energy that you transmit and connect through your poetry. So I feel like people are really feeling it in general, and of course on the chat here. So thank you so much. I hope people are able to join on May 21st. There's an open mic of sorts online, and you can go to Instagram, lawriterunderground, for more information and to connect with all the things that Iris de Anda is doing. One of the questions was about your music. So one last wrap up. Oops, one last question about.
Time's up.
I know. I think that was like the alarm for music. It wants music already. So tell us, Elvia also had that question earlier. If you could tell us a little bit about your palabra turned into música, and you have an EP because that was part of your bio at the end, and we want to know more.
Yeah, so I'm trying to put that out into the universe. I'm working on an acoustic set. It's 4 songs. They're like the sad girl songs, bedroom pop kind of feel. English and Spanish again. So I write in both languages. And that should be out later this summer. I don't have a title for it yet. I have a working name of Niña de la Tierra, but we'll see if it sticks. Besides that, I had a band named Besos. Before, you can find us on Bandcamp if you still want to support. That's like post-punk kind of stuff. BEXOX on Bandcamp. And then I was also part of a band called the Bloody Gypsies. We are working on getting a tape out. It's just, again, we want to document everything. And so this was an all-girl post-punk, cumbia, ska band. We all had different influences, and we were around for almost 2 years. And so you can check out the Bloody Gypsies and stay connected, because we will have a tape or cassette coming out with our recordings también. So yeah, I'm excited. I guess the connection too from moving, sometimes poetry, for me, it's so like you said, so much corazon, and I needed to find a different way to move the energía, and music is another outlet. And just having grown up with musicians, and I've been playing bass and guitar since I was 13 and never really took it so seriously into the last couple of years. And so again, just wanting to document this moment and putting out those 4 songs. So hopefully by the end of summer of 2020. I wanted to play for you guys tonight, but my computer situation is weird.
It's
so all pero soon.
Maybe on the Monday, Mujer Música Mondays.
Yeah, and so, I'll get a better setup.
Yeah, for those of you who are joining us, you might have joined us on one of the other nights. On Mondays, for the next few Mondays, we're having Mujeres Eres Música Monday. So we had our first concert on Monday this week, a couple days ago, and every Monday we're going to have features similar to today, but música or hip hop women artists. And of course, Wednesdays, such as today, we have Wise Word Wednesdays or Women Warrior Wednesdays with the palabra and the word, the sacred word of our beautiful mujeres such as Iris de Anda. So thank you so much, Iris. Follow her on Instagram. Make sure to find more information and the books. You wanted to share one last thing before? Yeah, talk about the book.
We're gonna have a reading for the Wandering Song. This is an anthology of Central American writers in the United States. It was put out by Teatrucha Press in 2017, and we're doing a GoFundMe. We're trying to get it's sold out, and we're trying to get another printing going. And so we're having a reading May 17th. You can find that through the Wandering Song on Facebook or Instagram. And just, if you could spread the word about that event, that's May 17th for the Wandering Song anthology.
Awesome. So we'll do our best to repost. Make sure to tag us, let us know, follow Iris de Anda at the LA Writer Underground on Instagram. Of course, I'll find all the social media that she has and the different projects of música also, and the book, Codeswith, Fires from Mi Corazon. Make sure to support Fem Labor. And do you have a Venmo or Cash App that you want to share?
I do. We can Venmo at Iris de Anda. But I also want to throw a shout out to Raíces Texas. If people want to donate there, they're doing great work in helping to reunite families. So maybe send a little of that energía that way también.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias. Of course, Iris, not only always, even to the last second, sharing with others, giving to others. as she also gives to us. So muchas gracias. Thank you all for joining us today on Wise Words Wednesdays with Edie Seanda. It was great to have you all. Make sure to support, and thank you. Until next week. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.
Gracias.